A dispatcher's worst nightmare. Bear County Emergency Services. This is Alice. What is the nature of your emergency? Hello? A man's voice speaks up.
Yes. Hello, Alice. I think you should send the police and an ambulance here immediately. If you wait too long, a coroner van may be more effective.
Excuse me? Alice asked. Sir, are you injured? What is the address of your emergency? The man responds.
The address isn't important just yet, Alice. Have you sent the police and an ambulance yet?
Alice responds. Sir, I'm not seeing your information on my screens. No phone number and no location. Would you happen to be on a prepaid phone? I can't seem to trace your... The call is ended abruptly. Hello? Hello? Alice lets out a frustrated sigh, pushes back her chair, lowers her headset, and just pauses for a moment. Her supervisor came by and asked Alice what was wrong. Alice responded, That was the strangest thing. Creepy even. A call just came in with no information, and this man said that I needed to dispatch police and an ambulance immediately, but won't tell me the nature of his emergency. He also said that if I don't hurry, the coroner would be necessary. Her supervisor responds with a reminder that it's Halloween night, and that prank calls are going to be expected for the next few hours. That just didn't sit right with Alice. Something in that man's voice sounded sinister. She spent the next few moments staring at her screens and sitting on the edge of her chair, just waiting for the line to ring again. The emergency center here is always busy, buzzing like a beehive with calls and activity. Halloween night brings out the crazy in people. The hive is usually buzzing a little extra on this night. Alice had calls about hand injuries from carving pumpkins, pedestrians being struck by cars during trick-or-treating. One call was from a mom whose child had a severe allergic reaction from face makeup. She never knew what is going to be on the other end of that call when she picked up. Alice thought to herself, Boy, I'm glad my kids are safe at home. They should be home for trick-or-treating by now. I hope they don't eat too much candy. I hope they save me some Reese's cups. I'll call them during my break here in a little bit, she said to herself. Just then, her headset rings and the screens light up with a new call. Alice was immediately anxious and answered right away. Bear County Emergency Services, what is the nature of your... The man's voice says,
I thought I told you to send the police and a damn ambulance, Alice.
Alice says, Sir, please tell me the address of your emergency. Who is hurt? How many victims are there? Please just tell me where you are so that I can get you some help. Hey, this isn't a Halloween prank, is it? There are real emergencies that need my attention. The man pauses, breathes heavily into the phone, and growls out the words.
There are going to be 2 victims. I believe they both have just gone inside the house. They just finished trick-or-treating from the looks of it. Great costumes, too. Looks like a teen boy who went as Michael Myers, and his younger sister who went as Ghostface.
With frustration in her voice, Alice says, Listen, sir, I need to know what's going on there. I have no address to go by to send help. Whose kids are you looking at? And who is injured? If this is a prank, I'm hanging up. Sir, do you know these kids? Are they okay? Are you inside or outside with them?" The man pauses again and then says,
I've been following these two since they left the house earlier to go trick-or-treating. I watch them often, actually. It's amazing how little their mother is actually home with them. Sad, really. Their mom works nights mostly, leaving them defenseless. It would be a shame if something tragic were to happen to them tonight.
Alice, almost shouting into her headset at this point, says, "Listen to me, you piece of garbage. Have you harmed those children? I want an address now." The man lets out a gruff, raspy, slow laugh and then says,
Well, I haven't harmed them yet. Right now, I'm just watching them from outside. I'm looking into their kitchen windows. Nice kitchen. Great house, actually. It would be a shame to make a mess in there. Oh, look. Cute dog. That's a border collie. Right, Alice?
Just then, every single hair stood up on every centimeter of Alice's body. While trying to hold down vomit, she composed herself enough to say to the man. She takes a long, deep breath and says to him, "Please, please, just tell me where you are. Give me an address. I beg you to just leave those kids alone, sir." Alice continues to plead with the strange caller. "You don't want to hurt those kids. Please just leave them alone. Won't you please tell me the address of the home? Sir, I have kids of my own around those ages. I beg of you to spare their lives." After a very long pause, the man responds with the chilling response of,
Oh, Alice. Alice, Alice, Alice. I think you should have gone with your gut earlier. You should pay more attention to your son and daughter, or something terrible could happen. I'm here alone with your kids, Alice. I think you know exactly what the address is. Better fucking hurry.
the calls coming from Shadow Tree Lane. It's Friday night, and Dolores Del Monte is in the middle of hour 60 of the work week at the call center. She's a 911 operator, and while she enjoys her job and finds it rewarding, there have been days throughout her 10 years that have stuck with her. Rough days, to be honest. Certain calls, certain voices that haunt her, not knowing what happened after the call hung up. Were they alive? Were they dead? And sadly, in some cases, she did find out what had happened. It truly can be a grueling job, with its ups and downs the downs can be especially tough, taking a mental toll on one's emotions, as many current and former dispatchers can attest to. Over the past year, however, Dolores has been plagued with a rash of calls that have almost driven her to the brink. They have given her nightmares, put first responders she has sent to the call in danger, and has given her superiors pause and questioning her abilities to continue to perform in an adequate fashion. The eerie part about all of this, some might say even spooky, is that this particular string of calls and incidences have all come from the same home. It started a year ago tonight, Halloween Eve. Dolores had already been on shift for hours and was beginning to get tired. when she received the call. 3425 Shadow Tree Lane was the address. A woman was on the other line, frantic, almost sounding like she was fighting for her life. Dolores quickly sprung into action, asking her name, location, and what the problem was. Cool, calm, and collected, like the grizzled dispatch veteran she was, the woman on the other line kept screaming, repeatedly saying, "He's going to kill me. Please send help." She was finally able to get the woman's name, which was Clara, and she told her to hide and that help was on the way. Clara said she had locked herself in the bathroom and that the man was outside the door trying to get in. Dolores told her to stay put, that help was almost there. About 2 minutes before police arrived at the scene, Dolores heard the door being broken down. Loud thuds and cracks could be heard in the background as an axe was destroying the door. Then a deafening, blood-curdling scream from Clara rang out. Then the call went dead. Nothing but silence. Dolores urgently told the first responders to hurry. They said they had just arrived and were approaching the front door. Dolores could hear them kick the front door open, and when they entered, all she heard were their confused reactions. One officer could be heard saying, "What the hell is going on here?" The other asked Dolores, where was the caller calling from? What room? Dolores told him she had barricaded herself in the back bathroom, and to hurry because a man had just broken in. She heard the officers moving. They shouted, "Police! Come out with your hands up! Put any weapons on the ground and put your hands behind your head." Then silence. It seemed like the silence lasted forever. It was broken by one of the officers asking if the address was correct. The other officer in the background could be heard saying, "What the hell is this? Some kind of Halloween prank?" Dolores said, "Yes, the address was correct. And if they had found Clara." The officer sounded confused and responded, "The house was abandoned. They searched the entire home and no one was there." Dolores sat stunned. Then she heard the officer say it was probably a prank, then hung up. But she knew it wasn't a prank, and she knew the location was correct. That call haunted her for weeks, but sadly, that was just the first. The calls just kept getting worse and worse, with even injuries to first responders being sustained. There was nothing she could do. Every call kept coming from the home on Shadow Tree Lane, but every time the calls were responded to, the officers were met with the silence of an abandoned home. A few officers even getting injured by falling debris from the home being as old as it was. The calls Dolores received from the location ranged from children in distress to domestic disturbances, murders, heart attacks, all horrific and all that continue to haunt her to this day. The voices that called out to her for help, she can still hear when she closes her eyes to go to bed. The house has been abandoned for years, yet no one knows why calls are still coming from the property. There's no electricity, and the phone lines haven't been connected with the phone company in ages. Paramedics and police stopped responding after multiple first responders were injured because of the old, dilapidated house. Dolores in her free time researched the property's history, trying to give herself some peace of mind, and what she uncovered was quite disturbing. In 1962, the original owners, Mark and Clara Downs, moved into the home. Not long after Mark horrifically murdered Clara while she was on the phone to police. Dolores's eyes widened when she read the name Clara. That was her. She just knew it. But how? She's been dead for decades. Then Dolores continued down the list of owners and their families and she realized she had received calls from multiple individuals on that list, even though they had all died horrific deaths. There had already been rumors that the house was haunted, jokes being made around the office and by the responders alike, hesitant whispers hoping it not to be true, not wanting to speak it into existence. But with this new information, Dolores knew it to be true. The home on Shadow Tree Lane was and is most definitely haunted. So if you're on duty and you receive a call coming from the house on Shadow Tree Lane, please hang up the call. A 911 call during the winter. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, hi. There's this girl standing in the woods behind my house. Could you repeat that to me, sir? Yeah. I woke up to get myself a glass of water, and I looked out of my window overlooking my backyard. She just walked out of the woods. I just want you to send some officers. She shouldn't be out. Sir, what's your address? 5279 Terra Avenue. Okay, sir. I've sent a squad car, but it'll be some time before they get there. But for now, describe her to me. She's maybe 10 or 12 years old. I can't really tell. It's really dark out. She's thin, pale even. She's wearing a white dress like a nightgown. Dear God, she's hurt. How's she hurt? I think I can see some blood stains. Jesus, she's got blood stains all over her. Okay, sir, is she alone? Yes, she's alone. It's just something's not right. How so? Well, she's standing there at the edge of the woods, just standing there, motionless, not even swaying. I think that she's freezing. It's snowing, and... Sir? Dear God, she's sobbing. I can hear it through the glass. I'm going to go out and get her. She must be so cold. I'm walking outside right now, opening the door to my patio. Sweet jeez, it's cold. Poor thing. She must be suffering. Officers will be there in 10 minutes. Just get her inside your home. She's still standing there. Sweetie! Hey! Honey, you okay? What's she doing? She didn't do anything. She's still standing there motionless, and I... Sir? Hey, come here. I'm not gonna hurt you. Are you hurt? Come here, hey. Sir, the officers are close now. Just get her inside. She won't come to me. She's not answering me. She's motionless. Wait a minute. What? What's happening, sir? Jesus Christ, she's just standing there. No, wait. Sir, what's wrong? Her eyes, they're... What? Sir, her eyes, they're white, colorless. She's pale and blue. Dear God, her hair is white. There's ice all over her. It's covering her body. Sir, what do you mean? She's frozen. That's why she isn't moving. Why she won't answer. She's dead. What? Could you please repeat that? She's dead. Frozen stiff. Must have been freezing to death when she walked out of the woods earlier. God, I... Okay, sir. What... What the hell? What is it, sir? Oh, crap, What is that? Sir? She... She just blinked. Sir? No, 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 get away from me. Get away from me, get away. Sir? Hey, what are you? My hand, my ankle, it's freezing up. Sir, sir, I just heard a loud noise. Are you okay, sir? Sir, sir. The 911 call. It's the police, open up! I hear heavy pounding at my front door. It's 10 p.m. My loud TV volume almost drowned them out. Hello, officers. What can I do for you? We got a call from this location. Is there anything going on here? No, I'm a 60-year-old widow, spending my night watching TV. Who called? We have a report of a call from this address. Are you sure you are alone? Yes, I've lived alone for many years, since my husband passed. Can we look around to make sure? Yes, please have a look. The two officers came in and checked the place out. Sorry, ma'am, for disturbing you. It must have been a prank call or something. If anything comes up, please give us a call, he says, handing me his card. I close the door as the officers drive away. I go back to my couch. After several minutes, I hear knocking on my sliding door to the backyard, which startles me. I look over and see a small boy. He is covered in dirt and looks distraught. Who are you? I ask through the glass. The boy pleads, Please, help me quickly. The bad man is coming. The child has tears and terror written all over his face. Did this child call 911 from my backyard? I thought. I let the poor child in and ask what is happening. Please hide me. Bad man chasing me. Let me call the police, I say. I take the officer's card out of my pocket and dial him while the kid looks out into the backyard nervously. Hi, officer. You just came to my house and there's a child here who's distraught and someone is chasing him. We are already heading back your way. Can you describe this child in great detail? Okay. He's about 4 feet tall, black hair, black eyes, red shirt filled with dirt, and green pants, I say as the child now stares at me. More distinctive details? Any birthmarks or tattoos? Tattoos? He's just a child. He does have some freckles. I'm so sorry, ma'am. We got a call after we left your house from your neighbor's private security company. They have dark footage of your neighbor being brutally murdered in their backyard. He was able to dial 911 with his last few moments. The murderer quickly hung up the call, and that's why we thought the signal came from your house. Your backyards are very close. We are on our way to your place, but I believe it's unfortunately too late. The murderer will now have realized what is happening, and you soon, too, will get a similar fate. Thank you for the details of him, so we can hopefully catch him. And he is no child. My heart fell to the ground. Is this a joke? I look over and the child was smiling devilishly at me. Don't worry. Your neighbor said it didn't hurt. The final words ever said to me. Police records. Apartment complaint letters. May 21st, 1990 to July 22nd, 1991. September 2nd, 1990. Stephanie, thank you so much for helping us into our new apartment. However, we did have a couple concerns. There is a strange smell in our apartment. We have checked all our cabinets and we just can't tell. Can you send maintenance over to look for us? Also, we heard some shouting and moaning in the apartment above us. Could you ask them to keep it down a bit? Thank you again. David and Michelle Huggins. Michelle, thank you for letting us know. As it turns out, the tenant above you had their freezer break and all their food spoiled. Regards, Stephanie. April 9th, 1991. Stephanie, this may sound a bit odd, but David swears he heard a chainsaw in the unit above us. We don't mind if that tenant wants to do work up there, but it was at 10 p.m. The smell is back again. Also, we've heard a lot of beds creaking and hitting walls. I do not want to be involved with someone else's sex life, and I definitely do not want to hear it at all hours of the night. David and Michelle. David and Michelle, I have told our manager about your letters. All further correspondence will go through Sopa Princewell, the builder's manager. Regards, Stephanie. David and Michelle Huggins, I apologize about the smell. Unfortunately, the tenant above you had been keeping exotic fish, and due to a tank malfunction, they all died. He is cleaning it up with haste, as multiple tenants have reported the smell. Thank you again for your concern. Regards, Sopa Princewell, Office Manager. May 17th, 1991. Sopa. Urgent, please read. Mr. Princewell, today we saw a nude man running down the hallway and out into the street. My husband said the man looked like he had blood on him. Should we call the police? Help. David and Michelle Huggins. David and Michelle, thank you for being vigilant neighbors. Thankfully, police had already been called, and the man was returned to the apartment upstairs. He is the boyfriend of the tenant above you and had been drinking heavily. Milwaukee police have cleared the situation as a domestic disturbance. Regards, Sopa Princewell, Office Manager. June 20th, 1991. Mr. Princewell, today some delivery men made a huge racket delivering a giant barrel to the apartment above us. The continued noise has been keeping my husband awake. We also heard muffled noises, which sounded like gagging or choking. My husband is very concerned. Please do something about this. Michelle and David. David and Michelle, please note that the tenant above you was taken into police custody, and you will no longer have to worry about noises or smells. I am not at liberty to say more about the arrest. If you want to know more, I would pick up a copy of the Milwaukee Journal tomorrow and look for the name Jeffrey Dahmer. Regards, Sopa Princewell, Office Manager. I figured out how to relieve the pressure. I was let go in March. Since then, the bills continued to pile up, almost as high as the rejection letters from prospective employers. I am not experienced enough. I am too experienced. I just wasn't a good fit. My salary expectation of being able to afford rent were unrealistic. I feel guilty for what I did, but I do not regret it. I knew what I was doing when I placed the phone call. I knew I was changing someone's life forever. 911, what is your emergency? I am feeling homicidal. They sent 2 cops, and both were stationed at my front door knocking. Neither checked the back door. I took a deep breath and smiled, relieved. This would be over soon. I purposely ran into the garbage bin when I turned the corner, shotgun raised. They were fast and efficient. I am so thankful. I made sure to thank the cop who made the final blow. I hope he can forgive me, as he had just started a few months ago in March, replacing me. The Babysitter. Alex was watching Shrek with the little girl. It was a quiet Friday night. She was able to get her weekend homework done. She looks over and sees how the little girl is dozing off. Alex wanted to finish the movie, so she was going to wait before carrying the little girl to her bed. As the movie is near its end, she gets a call from her cell phone. Pulling it from her pocket without a care, she sees it's Mrs. Williams, the mother of the little girl she is watching. Before answering the phone, she thought to herself that maybe the Williams are wanting to stay out later. Alex answers the phone. "Hey, Mrs. Williams. How is your night going?" Mrs. Williams was in a panic, shouting over the phone. She was clearly scared of something. "Get my daughter! She is out the window! Aren't you watching the cameras in her room? We are coming home now." Alex jumps up in shock. Alex turns her head and looks right at the little girl. She is sleeping right there on the couch. In a calm voice, "Mrs. Williams, your daughter is right here next to me. We are watching a movie. Can you open the camera to the living room?" Mrs. Williams, still in a panic. "My daughter is not in the living room. I am now watching the living room camera." Taken aback from this, Alex reaches out to touch the little girl. Shaking her awake, Alex asks the little girl to talk to her mom. She gets on the phone. "Mommy, I'm in the living room with Alex." Mrs. Williams is quiet now, over the phone. Alex speaks. "Mrs. Williams, are you there?" Still no answer, at all. Alex tells the little girl to stay here as she goes up the stairs, wondering what on earth Mrs. Williams could be looking at. She saw the open window. A car rushes into the driveway. Mrs. Williams starts to scream in terror. Mr. Williams is calling 911. "We need an ambulance now." He runs to the front yard, where Alex now lays. Mrs. Williams runs inside to grab her daughter. As the police officers arrive, Mr. Williams shows the camera footage of Alex jumping out the window, head first, and snapping her neck. My boyfriend looks so cute when he sleeps. I know. Everyone says this about their partner, but he really is. I remember I met him 2 years ago. I was trying to bench press about 20 more pounds than usual. Him being the cutest and sweetest person saved me. Just as my arms were giving out and the bar almost snapped my neck, he grabbed it. Ever since then, we've just been inseparable. It's like wherever we went, he would always steal a glance at me. It always made me feel like I was the only girl in the world he found pretty. I never wanted to be away from him, like ever. I've even gotten tattoos dedicated to him. I'm so in love, and he feels the same too. I can't wait until he proposes. The only problem we ever have is that when we get into fights, he pretends he doesn't know me. It just makes me so mad. Not even mad. No, it makes me livid. One day, We were walking in the park, and I don't know what I did to make him mad, but he just snapped at me in front of everyone. It made me so livid. That was the first and last time I ever slapped him, and instantly I gasped, apologizing profusely as tears crept into my eyes. Oh, anyways, back to the original point. He's just so cute when he sleeps. From his cute small breaths, the way his body moves a little if he's dreaming, all the way to his adorable messy hair. I just love his morning voice. It's so raspy and so attractive. I guess I made him mad yesterday because when he woke up, he started yelling at me, saying stupid things like, "How did you get in here? I got a restraining order, you psycho." It just made me so livid. Yeah, it made me livid. So, as he was trying to call 911, I made a mistake. I hit him so hard over his head, he started to bleed. His head instantly hit the pillow, and again, I started to admire how cute he was when he was sleeping. When he wakes up, I hope he isn't too mad at me for hitting him. He just has to understand. He can't pretend he doesn't know me just because he's mad. It's not fair. I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to the special friends of the channel for your overwhelming generosity. If you would like to support the channel, the link is below in the description. Also, please send me your stories and poems to duchessofdarkness27@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at duchess.ofdarkness and Twitter at duchessofdarkn2. I want to thank all my listeners for your kindness, your encouragement, and your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.